We're going to talk about some free agent targets for the Falcons after the NFL draft. But first things first, thank you to all of our new subscribers and everyone who tuned in during our draft coverage. Really appreciate you guys making us your go-to spot for Falcons draft content. Now, our sights are not set on just wrapping things up now the draft is over. We want to surpass the Vikings channel here at Chat Sports, because the way it works is the more subscribers you have, the more studio space you get, and the more content you can put out. So if you're looking for more Falcons YouTube videos, hit that sub button down below. What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Falcons Today by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here talking about some free agent targets for Atlanta and Terry Fontenot. Now that the draft is over, you're going to see a flurry of signings happening as teams now know their roster holes going into training camp, and they're going to fill those holes with some free agent signings. So let's recap what Atlanta did in the draft, though, really quickly. Bijan Robinson, Matthew Bergeron, their top two picks. Those are two day one starters. Zach Harrison, he's going to be a bit of a developmental-ish pick / I just don't see him having a starting role in year one. Clark Phillips very well could be your starting nickel corner, though. Then fast forward to round number 7. I don't know, this DeMarco Hellams guy, he might be an actual sleeper candidate to make some impact plays. I know it's just a 7th-round pick, but he was very productive at Alabama. And then a guard / center out of South Carolina, Javon Gwynn. So those are the picks that the Falcons made. And after the draft is over, Atlanta still has some work to do on this roster, in my opinion. I hope they do not view it as a set-in-stone piece, and it is good to go until week 1. I would still like to see some improvements made. So, the Falcons, in my opinion, did a good job overall. Could they have done a better job with having a top 10 pick? Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. Did they bomb the draft? No, they did not bomb the draft. They did a good job, but they never addressed an issue that I thought is a quietly big-ish issue, and that is the second wide receiver, right? You have Drake London, and then you've got that Moneyball quote of 50 feet of crap, and then there's us, right? Matt Collins, no offense, great season last year with the Raiders. Are they ready to get him or give him some wide receiver 2 reps and try and learn if Desmond Ridder is the guy with Scotty Miller in the slot? I think those 2 players are good wide receivers to have on your roster, but just imagine if something were to happen to Drake London. Ooh, that is a low and bad wide receiver room for Desmond Ridder to try and learn if he is a franchise quarterback. So now I want everyone watching to get in the comment section, be active down below, and let me know what position you think the Falcons still need to address. I'm going to go wide receiver. That's going to be a big topic of today's show, but there are some other spots as well. So with that being said, let's move on and look into some wide receiver targets now for Atlanta, starting with Jarvis Landry, the longtime Cleveland Brown, originally a Miami Dolphin. Last year with the New Orleans Saints, you can see his stats were not glamorous, right? He only played 9 games. He was dealing with injuries throughout the season. 272 yards and 1 touchdown. Now, Desmond Ridder is not a rookie quarterback, but I think Desmond Ridder in his real first-ish season, more than just 4 games at the end of the year when it felt like the season was over, could really benefit from having a wide receiver like Landry, who is just so intelligent when it comes to the gridiron, right? Knows what to do, knows what routes to run based on how the coverage is lined up. He's going to make life a lot easier for a young quarterback like Ridder. He's a bit washed up, sure thing, but he is going to help that wide receiver room, which doesn't have a clear-cut veteran leader in it. Moving on to the next wide receiver to look at, big payday a couple of years ago, Kenny Golladay, right? He was an awesome wide receiver to have on your fantasy football team back in like 2019-ish, and since then, nothing. Now, Golladay really struggled with the Giants. He had some attitude issues, in my opinion. He had some health concerns at times, but he was just not the guy they gave a huge paycheck to. Now, when you look at Landry and Galladay's career stats here, I mean, these guys tower over anyone in the Falcons wide receiver room. Landry especially. I know he's from Louisiana. He's from the Southeast. I'm sure if he's interested in re-signing somewhere, he would like to go up somewhere near home, and Atlanta could be a great fit for him. Now, Landry is 30 years old, and Kenny Golladay is quietly just as old, too. I wouldn't really have thought that. He is 29, so neither player has a lot left in the tank, and their last season show that. Now, you can make the argument both of these guys are cooked. There's no development there. Like, there's no future prospect, right, of Landry or Golladay blossoming into a wide receiver for Atlanta for years to come. But if Landry could stay healthy, he could be a huge help to this wide receiver room. And I also remember when the Falcons signed a guy named Cordarrelle Patterson, who might have looked like he was going towards the end of his career, right? Had some nice moments in Chicago, but no one really envisioned him being a lead horse in the backfield. And then he churns out some great seasons with Atlanta. Maybe if Landry can stay healthy, him and Drake London can help bring Desmond Ridder along, or at least help the coaching staff learn if Desmond Ridder is their quarterback. Before we look at the rest of the free agent targets for ATL, Bijan Robinson jerseys are here. We don't have the jersey number just yet, but don't worry about that. What's going to happen is if you order this Bijan Robinson jersey by going to chatsports.com/BijanATL, Fanatics will mail that jersey out to you once the number selection is in. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big believer and you get some good jerseys, but not just overly mainstream jerseys. Like, everyone's got the quarterback, right? Bijan would be an awesome number 2 jersey to have. Everyone's going to see you hanging out in Buckhead and go, that guy knows ball. Plus, I mean, we don't know the number yet, but whatever number he gets, that's the number you're wearing. So if he wears a dope number, that's going to be a lot of fun to wear out and about. Let's check out our next free agent target. This is center Ben Jones. So the longtime Tennessee Titan, originally a Houston Texan, he could be a nice addition to this already elite offensive line. I like Drew Dalman. I don't know if Drew Dalman's going to be the center for this team for years to come, and you could be stunting a potential growth of him, but you have to admit, if the Falcons want a top 3, 4, 5 offensive line, adding Ben Jones would push them over the edge. They're set at tackle between Jake Matthews and Caleb McGarry. Chris Lindstrom is not quietly, but he's the best player on this offensive line, which has Jake Matthews, one of the best tackles in football. Matthew Bergeron, I'm getting more upbeat about it, but he's going to step in and be your day one left guard. Drew Dalman's really the only question-ish mark, like low man on the totem pole, if you will, in this offensive line room. So maybe Atlanta looks to add a guy like Ben Jones, who with the Tennessee Titans was more than just a guy who snapped the football. He was the heart and soul of that offensive line. Great leadership, would be an excellent addition to this locker room. Center is the only spot I could really see them looking to make an upgrade if they don't like Drew Dalman, which I don't know what's going through Arthur Smith's mind, and Ben Jones would be awesome. I'm not saying that they had to punt on Drew Dalman, because you could have a great center in the works and you'll be happy because he's younger, he's on a rookie contract, he's on a cheaper contract, and you could have him for much longer than Ben Jones. But if there are concerns about Dalman, well, Jones would be an upgrade at least for 2023, but might not be good for 2024 and beyond. So what do you guys think, though? Should the Falcons sign the veteran center Ben Jones? Just give me a simple Y for yes or N for no. Really curious what the pulse is on the center situation. I know it feels minute, but it's really one of the most important positions in football that gets slept on, in my opinion. Looking at the number 4 free agent target here, this is Yannick Ngakoue, edge rusher who has a rainbow closet, right? He's been with many teams. He's bounced around. He has lived out of a suitcase. I hope he has rented and has not purchased any home. Now, this would be a luxury signing, right? This would not be a one-year veteran-ish minimum with a bunch of incentives tossed on. No, I think that Ngakoue is going to get a multi-year contract. Frankly, I'm shocked he did not get signed before the NFL draft, but now that the draft is over and teams know if they address the edge rusher need that they may have had or not, Ngakoue is going to get some attention. Now, the defensive line for Atlanta made a lot of upgrades this offseason. Calais Campbell, David Onyemata. Older guys, more so Campbell than Onyemata, but Ngakoue, in my opinion, would be a really nice addition for Atlanta that has yet to figure out the edge rusher spot. And I know I get on this soapbox and say this every video pretty much, but I think we're all in agreement they cannot simply overdo it at the edge rusher position. It has been that bad for this long. Now, Ngakoue has always been like right on the cusp of a double-digit sack person per season. I don't know if he'll ever be a true number one edge rusher where he can get 13, 14, 15 sacks in a year. He's probably like the best Robin of all the Batman-Robin duos out there, and he could be maybe the worst Batman, if you will. So the Falcons don't necessarily need Ngakoue. They have made a lot of additions. They drafted an edge rusher. I'm sure they want to see how that draft pick and these free agent signings pan out. But I'm not going to throw a fit if they do sign Ngakoue, right? If I had the button in front of me to press sign Ngakoue, probably smash it. All right, moving on to our fifth and final free agent target, linebacker Myles Jack. So the longtime Jacksonville Jaguar was traded to the Steelers last season. Was just so-so there, if you will. Now, when we look at Atlanta's linebacker room, they added Bud Dupree. They brought back Lorenzo Carter. They signed Caden Ellis. Troy Anderson is entering his second season. It's a pretty good linebacker room that's had a lot of investments made in it over the last 12 months. But I think a veteran like Myles Jack, if an injury were to pop up, would be a great fill-in. Plus, a veteran to help bring along Mykal Walker and Troy Anderson would probably go a long way to help make sure those guys are on a good path and on the right track to being this team's inside linebacker duo for the next couple of seasons. So Myles Jack could be at least a name maybe you bring into training camp and see if he's still in football shape and if he's got anything left in the tank. So let me know. Who do you guys think the Falcons should sign? Is it one of the 5 names we talked about today? Is it someone else? Just sound off for me down in the comment section below and drop a name. That's going to do it for us on today's show. Thank you so much for spending some time and hanging out with us here on a Monday. We will let you go and enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll be back tomorrow with more just overall news and rumors and Falcons draft galore, if you will, stemming from the 2023 NFL Draft.